Okay, this is VoD review for Team B's Game 1. This was also played in theater yesterday. So, um, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at team compositions while we're loading in. So, they didn't draft in the right order. They have their ADC and top lane. It's hard to see matchups. Okay, so we'll just start. Phoenix's team comp here, Urgot, Zach, LeBlanc, Silverbrom, pretty balanced. Pretty balanced comp. Have some engage with primary engage is going to be Zach, good follow-up engage, and a Sivir. So got a winning lane in top for sure with Urgot Swain. Urgot's going to win that a little bit early. And bot lane shoves early with Silverbrom. Definitely some kill pressure for Lucian and Bard, but see what happens level 1 right here. So before we get into level 1, let's just look at win conditions for Phoenix's comp right here. So the way that early lane's probably going to go, generally Sivir lanes push. So this comes down to if they're going to leash or not for Zach. So Zach probably requires leash, and this is where a lot of the early game is going to get dictated for Phoenix, is when you run a jungler like Zach, who just needs a lot of hand holding in the early game. You have to be a little bit back foot and really have to help him out. He scales pretty well, like Zach does scale well into team fights, and like he's a good team fighter, but he's a really bad jungler early, and he can't really contest scuttles, so he like really fell out of meta, because meta has really revolved around scuttles and that sort of thing. So the entire early game plan for Phoenix needs to be to get their Zach into a point of the game where he's actually a champion. So like right now he's not a champion. He's about 3 or 4 levels in his E before he's actually a champ. So so that's going to be like the main thing. So I really want to see Phoenix's bot lane shove. It's going to help a lot for Zach to be able to avoid the Gragas at scuttles. So that'll be really interesting. And then mid lane this is mostly skill matchup, so priority for Crabs is still going to be contestable for Gragas. So shove generally goes to Lissandra here, especially with Aftershock, probably does. So probably going to have shoving lanes, which means that your Zach's going to have to be back foot for most of the game. So two philosophies around helping your weak jungler early. First is to keep all of your lanes shoved in a way that all the minions over here, so that your jungler can get scuttles and farm things. And the danger with doing that is that you are opening yourself up to ganks from Gragas. So like Gragas has good paths around to get in when you're shoved. So Zach really needs to be focused on counter ganking and showing up where Gragas is to kind of just stifle this early game and try and make it turn into nothing. So that's going to be early game win conditions for Phoenix here. Probably not getting any ganks off, and gonna have to watch this Gragas to see where he paths. So I really want to see a ward at one of these two river bushes so that you know where Gragas is going, so you can path around him. The reason I'm talking so much about jungle matchups is because when you pick something like Zach, the entire game can fall apart if your Zach gets behind and Gragas starts taking over the game, ganking every lane, and Zach can't do anything about it. So you really, really have to handhold this pick. Let's go ahead and look at level 1. So best time to ward at either of these brushes, any of the pixel brushes here, is 125. It's generally when you ward it to be able to get to leash in time, be able to get to lane in time without missing things. So looks like Goddle's probably going to ward that. Go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Actually not getting the ward out. Getting a ward here, good enough. Point of warding isn't necessarily to see Gragas, it's to see where he isn't, so that Zach can go there. So this is good. Let's check out early lane for top as well. Interesting matchup here. Both of these picks ranged in top lane, but Urgot generally outstatting early. Nice. This is good shove early. You just have to watch for early pass. So this is really interesting. So Gragas is going to go for instant bot scuttle. So what this means is that Gragas knows he wins this matchup, and he wants to contest every scuttle. So looking at mid lane, Lissandra's currently winning the shove, but might not actually respond in time. Bot lane should be shoving for Phoenix. Potentially they could collapse. And Braum level 1 is a lot better than Bard level 1. The bot for Phoenix should really go help their Zac out here. This is actually contestable for Phoenix. They had to leash though. It's very lame. So let's see. Yeah, actually not shoving. Okay, really good first roam, but you're level 1 to level 2, so it's not actually gonna work. Yeah, the reason that this doesn't work is because he has shove and you roamed anyway, because you're like, I can roam, I can help my jungler because I'm here first, but he actually had shove, so he level 2, and then you kind of can't do anything. So this is gonna be really impossible to contest for Zac. He needs to contest this and walk away. Or I mean, he needs to not contest it, he needs to walk away. Yeah, if bot lane's not coming, you can't do that. And it actually kind of sucks a little bit for mid too. You probably missed a couple CS, but it's fine. Here, actually, okay, so let's talk mid lane matchup for a second. So you just saw him proc bone plating right there. That's resolve Lissandra. This is Aftershock Lissandra. So this champion's really, really hard to kill until you proc the Aftershock. And it's really hard to proc Aftershock because Lissandra gets to decide when she does it. She has to press W and she gets all the extra resistances. So this lane's actually pretty difficult for LeBlanc because you can't actually kill Lissandra. It's like super frustrating to play into. Okay, let's see. Zac immediately goes Other Scuttle. Gragas is going to go Other Scuttle as well. And he's not going to have vision of this. Zac is going to be pretty far behind. He needs to just run away and let Gragas contest this. This is a good trade in mid. That's a really good trade in mid. Did Lissandra not press W? Is my question. That priority might actually be enough to get Scuttle. Level 3 first because of where the wave is. He didn't press W. Okay, so this Lissandra doesn't really know how that matchup's supposed to go, or she just misplayed for a second, because the second that if you're playing Lissandra ever in this matchup, as soon as LeBlanc distorts on you, like that's when you have to press W. Like he's about to distort right here. Okay, as soon as LeBlanc is next to you, this is when you W and you get your Aftershock. It gives you it's not to root. It's not really to root LeBlanc. Like it doesn't matter if you root LeBlanc; she's gonna hit you anyway. It's to proc Aftershock and get the resistances. So he really messes up there, and he looks super squishy because he has no resistances here. So he actually gets chunked super hard, and you get a Dark Harvest stack off this too. So let's see what this actually turns into. It's really good not to ignite there as well, because that's not a kill with ignite. Really good. So this is actually so good for Zac. Yeah, so in losing jungle matchups, you're really not supposed to be able to get scuttles like this. And if Lissandra had actually played well, I feel like you don't get it. But shoving lane with Urgot is really good. So yeah, props to Rick for shoving this lane in. And playing around topside definitely was better. I'm actually just confused why bot lane didn't shove at level 1, because like now they're shoving, and like imagine if you're contesting bot while the wave looks like this, it's much easier to get. So but this is really good babysitting, like really good hand holding around the Zac pick that you have to do when you pick this. So this is like really good. He has to get a scuttle or he's going to be super far behind. Now he gets full clear. He can like Krugs red and then either look for a gank or a recall. He has his entire jungle to farm here too. So this is really good early game. This is like textbook how you get Zac through early game, is you have to like hold his hand, go get him a crab, and then he's happy. So Gragas needs to respond here with a gank while Zac is unprepared. So we'll see if he actually can pull something off. He doesn't really have a good lane to gank either. This is actually so good. Did top lane actually bounce this, or did Swain just go full monkey and shove it? Swain went full monkey and shoved it. Okay, so in this situation as Swain, the reason that it's bad to shove right here is because you have freeze and because Gragas needs a gank after Zac gets scuttle here. So once Zac gets scuttle, Like, if you take a look at him, he's like not able to gank after he gets scuttled. Like he doesn't hit level 3 because he's only done blue. Like, look at his CS, he's only done blue. So like, Swain should know this. He only does blue, so blue, scuttle, still level 2. Zac cannot gank. Look what Gragas is. Level 2, about to hit 3 off of blue, or yeah, blue right here, because he did red, bot, scuttle, blue. This hits level 3. This means he can gank. So, and also Scuttle won't see you if you path right here. You can actually path right through Scuttle vision right here. So this is a top lane gank that should be happening, and it was set up really, really well. And then Swain just like full monkeyed out and shoved his lane in. So this is actually really, really bad from Swain. Like, should not be doing this. This is like a perfect situation to be in. So Phoenix playing to their early win condition like super, super well. You play around Zac not being able to gank. So this is literally perfect. You got wave shoving into you. Tank, if you can tank with W, I don't know if you can. That's really good. That's such a good trade to tank too, because now he's got his lane just like frozen right here. Swain can't do anything. Well, it doesn't really matter. You can thin this because the next wave is coming. Yeah, this is really good wave control in top as well. And Zac is like still farming, so good pinging out where wards are. Really solid top lane play. He's going to shove and look for a recall here, I think. He's telling his jungler he can't come gank. So this is just really easy for Zac to farm stuff. Gragas isn't doing anything. He can't gank top, it's shoved in. He can't gank mid, it's shoving as well. I want to see if mid actually bounced this wave, or... How did that lane get there? Lissandra shoved that. Oh, no, actually, no. Okay, Mink actually bounced this into tower. This is really good. When your jungler is playing on back foot early game, what you have to do when your lane starts to shove is bounce into tower. So you need to make sure that, exactly what Mink did here. So the line for tower is like this or something. So if you get your melee creeps to cross the line and the tower hits them, then you only have backline minions left. So then the lane has to actually shove against you, and then you're able to pick a freeze. So... this is really good lane control that actually maybe seems really insignificant, but this is huge. Like, imagine if you don't do this and you're gankable in lane. Like, then maybe Gragas gets an early play and you lose your early game. So this is like really, really good wave control. I haven't really looked too much at bot yet. It looks like it's just like a farm lane. Let's go ahead and take a look at some CS down here. It's like pretty even. This is actually a pretty good matchup for Lucian, but the Braum Bard matchup is pretty garbage, so I feel like it's pretty much a wash. It's actually super hard to spell shield Lucian's Q. It's like way harder than it looks like, so it's actually a little bit difficult to trade a Sivir, but you're able to kind of shove, and it's really not too bad. So this should pretty much be an even lane. I don't expect a 2v2 kill here on either side, really. They need jungle assistance, so it's a great freeze in mid. Keeping his freeze. He's gonna need to thin a little bit. Okay, and again, Lissandra just like not proccing her own aftershock. He doesn't know why he take the rune. I don't know. I guess he was giving a recall. It didn't really matter that much, but okay, we gotta fight him top. Okay, so interesting. This is an odd gank timing, because Gragas hasn't actually recalled. So I don't know that I expect this gank either. So Gragas actually full cleared and then walked all the way down through Tribush. And this lane's about to be shoved out. This is a very good gank. Gonna have to blow summoners. Might actually, yeah, gonna go down probably. Okay, that's a trade of summoners there. It's really hard to see that gank coming because of the strange timing. And with Bard there as well. That's probably a gank that just happens. You're trying to shove lane and back, you're doing the right thing. This is just what occasionally happens when you have really good gank presence with like Gragas E. I mean, like, yeah, mechanically you could flash the Gragas flash E, but like not Faker, so probably not going to do that every single time. Yeah, this is a really hard situation to be in. This would be the moment that you flash if you do. It's just hard to react in time, so. It's about as good of an escape as you can get, but it's going to be too much. That's not a counterable gank either, you know, your jungle's topside, so that's just what happens sometimes. Ganks will work for the enemy team when you have strong gankers like Predator Gragas, and Bard has pretty good gank setup from that side, so. The only thing that you can watch for is if Bard leaves lane through Tribush, like, he's probably setting a gank up, but it's really hard to know that if he's going to do it every time or if he's faking it or what. But you can see right here he paths away while the wave is crashing, so that's one telltale sign that you're probably getting ganked. It's that Bard leaves lane while wave crashes, because he has no reason to actually leave lane if the wave is crashing here. Like, he has no reason to leave it. So like at this point you could be like, maybe we're getting ganked, but honestly this gank probably works either way. So it's like really good textbook early game though. Like getting through this early game is really good. You have great team fight presence with Zach and Sivir, so you don't need early game to go your way to win this game. You need this Zach to get levels and be able to farm up. That's okay. This is actually a smart way to trade. If you want to know how to kill Lissandra in lane, you have to get bone plating first, and you would preferably get Aftershock. Aftershock's cooldown is longer than most non-ultimate cooldowns, so like even though he didn't land chain, it doesn't matter. He got bone plating. So and if you force Lissandra W there, you can really get her Aftershock and then go for a trade later. So this potential solo kill can happen in this lane if Lissandra doesn't play right. But this is really good. This is exactly where you want your lane. You want this to just be... We're basically just going to repeat exactly what happened early game, because Zach is doing his full clear again. Like, you want your lane frozen on this side of the map. You want this one to be shoving towards next scuttle that's going to come up. So let's see where Zach actually paths here. He's looking for counter gank and bot. This is not bad. He's going to get spotted on this ward. But this is good to look for counter gank and bot here, because you know that your bot lane is no sums. This is gonna be a face check. That's kind of unlucky. You might be able to get out. Zach should go ahead and counter this. Not necessarily go in. Okay, yeah, not go in probably. Maybe you get a kill on the Bard. No, I was hopeful. Okay, so I'll let this fight play out and then I'll talk about it. Okay. So setup to this fight in bot is basically they're just trying to repeat gank bot because there's no summoners. You know you have your jungler on this side of the map, but at the same time, like, it's Zach against Gragas, so you can't ever start a gank as Zach against Gragas. Reason for that is, like, if Gragas is there, he's A, stronger, and B, if he's actually, like, able to stop the engage, you can actually stuff Gragas, or you can stuff Zach E with Gragas E. Like, you'll knock Zach out of the air and he won't get his knock up. So there's a lot of ways that it can go wrong for Zach. So like, it's good for Zach to look for a counter gank here, but it looks like not having Tribush vision has like screwed over bot lane twice now. Okay, this is really small and it feels nitpicky, but it's actually not. The way that your wave is right here, you should never go ward right now. You wait for this to crash and then you go ward. It's just like 3 to 5 seconds off. It's like, okay, I need to go ward this because we're going to crash at tower. Imagine if the wave, okay, so imagine if the wave moves forward and it's here. So then, like, where is Lucian? Lucian's like back at tower farming it, right? And then that's when you would go ward the Tribush. So the idea is right, because you do want to ward after you're, like, when you have pushing lanes, when you have crashing lanes, so that you don't get ganked. But if you ward right before you have crashing lanes, you have opportunity to A, get ganked, but also B, you have no help because your laner is finishing the CS. So like it feels really small and nitpicky because you can't know that there's these guys in this bush, but also there isn't actually a point to warding this yet. So small mistake going to turn into 1 kill. The real mistake here is actually committing for the fight after you lose a member. So Lucian's missing this CS right here to get this kill, so it's net like 150 gold. Like, it's not that big of a deal that Braum goes down here, but committing to this fight can be pretty bad because mid is shoving against you. So you know that Lissandra has first roam. TP actually gets canceled. That's probably why that happened, honestly, was committing to the fight because of the teleport coming in, I think, or got teleported on a pink. I think he walked in right here and TP'd. Did he not know it was pinked? He must have just not seen it. It's a little bit unlucky that this gets canceled because Urgot showing up to this fight means that when Lissandra goes in, you have an extra member. It's still not a great TP. This is a little bit forced. This is reactionary TP. Imagine you have an Urgot right here. He's in about now. Lucian would still be running this direction. You'd still be running this direction, so you'd have a Lucian on this side of the fight, and then you'd have an Urgot right here. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you win this fight. It just means it goes even. So I would say teleporting to fights in a reactionary way when you're not really behind, and you don't need to like salvage this fight to win the game. So I think your TP might be a little bit overzealous. It gets canceled anyway, and that kind of like baits your team in a little. So kind of unlucky because, I mean, you didn't know it was pinked, but at the same time, reactionary TPs are not nearly as good as proactive TPs. So if you TP down bot at a time when your support is up and able to actually win a fight, like it would go a lot better. Yeah, and then bot lane gets a little bit baited in right here because of it. So yeah, that's just like really, really tiny misplays that are a couple of kills for LA. Like, the game's not lost in by any sense. It's just small things. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. I like smashing this guy in top lane, by the way. I can just force ult solo too. It's a very interesting matchup. You don't see a ton of this. Swing top, but wowzers, that is aggressive. Yeah, Swain wins that if he doesn't chicken out. Imagine if Swain doesn't flash backwards and he flashes forwards. He just got scared by the ignite. What's the threshold for Urgot ult at this point? It doesn't actually tell me. That's really lame. I don't think he's in Urgot kill range. He's got 500 HP. He's really not, so... Yeah, Swain actually flashing out when he could have got a kill. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the laning phase. Still going to be in lanes for a bit. Not really. You really need this recall timing, don't you? It's not the best way to leave your wave. Gonna miss a couple of CS. It's not a big deal, but in that situation, I mean, and you probably know this too, but you can look at your own creep wave to see on the mini-map where the other creep wave's gonna be, and if you don't auto these, it will shove against you. So, right, because you need this recall timing, right? Because you have money. Yeah, you have money. So you really need this recall timing, and it's really minor. You're gonna miss like 5 CS off of it and a little bit of XP. It's not a huge deal, but you just count your creeps, and then you go. And right there, right here, it's frozen. So if you just stop and don't get these 3 creeps and recall right here, Lysandra will have to either shove or take freeze. This will be it's not a huge deal either way, but you can actually, instead of Wing this, you can probably get a freeze off that. I'm pretty sure you can get a freeze somehow. Yeah, right here. Yeah. It'd be best to just take this. The best way to do it would be take cannon and back. I don't know what item you're looking for, but 1,000. Yeah, unless you just have to have Sorks, you'd get it after the cannon anyway. Yeah, if you just take cannon and back, it's probably better because you know Lysandra's backing too, so that would actually be really good. And you keep your freeze, get a little bit of CS, but again, not a huge deal. Just yeah, and Lysandra shoves it anyway, so you get most of the creeps back. But she could have frozen that. It was a huge wave. Let's see where Zach actually wants to gank here. There's a couple of lanes that you can gank. You could probably get Swain is flashless. You might want to be looking at that. Interesting invade by Gragas right here. That's really aggressive. This okay. Potentially this could be a fight that you want, but you need everybody on board. So I think it's yeah. I think seeing that Gragas is being a little over aggressive here, looking for an invade when he doesn't actually have top pressure. So this is good if everyone reacts in time. But let's actually let the fight play out, see if people can react in time. Because now Swain's about to get here, so it's a good idea, and if everybody is on the same page to collapse, then that would be really good. You'd need to collapse about 5 or 10 seconds sooner with Zach for it to work, but it can work. But this is still good. I really think late game should go your guys' way here with late game scaling. So the comp that LA is running is really focused on like pseudo frontline with Lysandra Swain, which is not actual frontline. It's just like zoning frontline. So it's late game carries are actually really good into pseudo frontline because when you have like Sivir or like Kog'Maw or something, or like even like really strong late game like Cassio or whatever, or like Ryze or something good in mid, the way that pseudo tanks work, like Lysandra just like goes in and presses R and you can't hit her, and she kind of functions as a frontline. Same with Swain. And the way that they work, like hyper carries are just able to hit targets they're not normally able to hit. Normally you have to hit the tank, but when it's a pseudo tank, you don't really have to hit him as much. Like you're actually able to get damage onto other champions you wouldn't be able to. So hyper carries are actually really good into, or even just late game carries are great into pseudo tank. So, oops, probably wasn't going to work anyway. Okay, this is about the point in the game when Zach actually does something. Like he has a few points in his E, and he has ult as well. It's gonna hurt. Ow. Good job not distorting on that. Now it's a good job distorting on that now that you're out of tower range, but I think it's junglers here. Nice counter. Okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty standard. You don't want to distort into tower range, and then he walks out of tower range and you distort in. But I don't know if he's baiting for his jungler. A little. I think he just got lucky. I think that was just his path. So, Lysandra gonna get ult off here. I can't believe your W was still in time. Like, you almost got, if he CC chained a little better, your W wouldn't have been there and you couldn't have gone back. Would have been a lot harder to get out. Like your W's right. So your W is right here. And he CC chains you a little bit wrong. So he roots and then immediately ults when he could root, wait half a second and then ult, and you'll be CC chained longer so that your distortion isn't still there. But he slightly misplays just a little bit and doesn't stun you as long as he could. Like, that should not be possible. That shouldn't be possible. This guy's Lysandra could use a little bit of work. But this is a really good counter gank too. Oh, he actually dodges that. This guy's faker. Okay, that's a good counter though. Keeps your LeBlanc alive, especially if LeBlanc is like still looking to, still like going down. So, top solo. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh yeah, you don't win that. You're down 11. What are the items? Yeah, I don't think that. That's not a 1v1 that you win. 8 to 9, 950 HP to 1400 HP. I don't know. I'm not a Nurgot player, but I don't think you win that. Yeah, that's just a little over-aggressive, overestimating your damage a bit. Maybe he didn't think Swain had ult. Maybe he wins that if he doesn't have ult. But yeah, just a little bit over-aggressive. Swain gonna punish. Let's take a look what they actually get off that. Not a whole lot. Wow, Gragas. Mean. Just walking in lane, taking a Lissandra cannon. Missed it, too. That's hilarious. And gave a freeze. Ming probably wants to back, though. Holding this wave is super pointless. Yeah, okay, just farm crux. Nice. Like, if he stays in your top lane or so, you can do something, but, like, walking up and holding that, I feel like it doesn't actually deny him much of anything. He's ranged, he's gonna hit the tower anyway. Okay, let's see how mid-game goes. Okay. Bard ganking his own lane. This lane's even in CS too. Oh, timed exactly with the go-in by Braum. That's why that happened. A little bit unlucky. Assuming that Bard is roaming, but not actually seeing him on a ward. This is like super even still. I mean, the top is kind of winning now, but it's pretty normal. Let's see what Zach can actually do here. Alright, this looks like hard force. They both have flash. He didn't use it. Okay, ended up flashing after. That bot play's not bad to look for, but you know that they have flash. You shouldn't commit as much as you did. After they, like, didn't flash that, I don't know about the Sivir ult. I think he flashed the Braum ult, so a little bit unlucky. Could have timed it a little better, I guess. Yeah, that's honestly should force someone to flash. Lucian still has E too. I don't. Could probably get out of that. But yeah, just slightly late on Braum ult. Might not have mattered. Might not get that kill anyway. And it's a 3v3. So let's take a look at what happened top. It looks like Swain is really big. I see. Getting you're baiting for your mid here, but it gets TP'd. Yeah, Lissandra gets a lot for that. And he had a good flash. A slight mechanical outplay there by Swain to be able to just flash in time, but yeah, TP follows that. You gotta remember that when it roams. And you know it's not gonna go bot after the way the bot play went, so it is a possibility. That's mostly just good play by Lissandra, not like bad play by Phoenix. Trying to find some openings. It's probably not where you're gonna find openings, is in the top lane. I would assume. Easiest lane to kill is not gonna be top after the solo kill goes Swain's way, so maybe a little unlucky that Lissandra decides to TP there instead of bot, but the way the game was going, it looked like he wasn't about to go bot, so that's very aggressive. Did you have Dark Harvest or no? I guess it just wasn't enough. Nice. So it looks like off the bot pressure, you guys actually get tower, and this is gonna like get you guys into mid game. So interesting, their bot lane backed. They did not need to. Did they get another trade, or this is just horrible. Against against Sivir lane, you can't back like this. You really can't back like this against Sivir lane. They're gonna get a tower off of this. Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world because it's not the only tower that's going down, like you're trading top for it, but there's really not a point to backing right now. And interesting. Okay, well, If you're gonna back, you probably should have backed like immediately after the play went wrong and bot. But this is either way, like some tower somewhere is gonna go down and mid game's gonna start at some point. So it had to be somebody. But I kind of see that as a mistake from LA's bot lane. Okay, so mid game is all about lane assignments and who goes where against what champion. So we'll see. Usually you put LeBlanc in a side lane and you let Sivir wave clear in mid. This is generally what happens. And then you would let Urgot split. But he's kind of losing the split to Swain right now, so you probably can't split with Urgot. Yeah, Urgot would be better off in the Lissandra lane. If you can get that lane assignment, that'd be perfect. Okay, so it looks like lane assignments are actually going to be duo lane going top, looking for a tower. This is wrong because you need dragon pressure, so I really want to see bot immediately rotate after shoving top, because what you're doing here is you're prioritizing towers over like dragons when your team comp is much better at dragon. Like think about what your comp excels at. You've got Sivir and you're basically it's just a Sivir comp. You press Sivir R and you run at people. You have pretty decent engage and you have LeBlanc with great burst damage, and you need to run at people to make this comp work. It's not really a tower comp. It's not like can't fight at dragon. I think this is a decent spike for a dragon team, but we'll see what ends up happening. I don't know if dragon's going to get contested here, but LA can definitely look for a dragon here because your duo's in top. It's not like a guaranteed win at dragon either for Phoenix. Like it's definitely no guaranteed win, but I don't see this as your win condition being I need to run around the map and take towers. That's more of a you have like Caitlyn, or you have like good siege champions who don't really want to fight around dragons, but we'll see what ends up happening here. I don't think you get through Swain wave clear, and I don't see this as useful. Yeah, this is good rotation. This is really good. Okay, so a little bit late to dragon, but this is the right idea. I think figuring out, hey, we need to be bot for dragon. Someone had to catch top wave, so we caught it. So I think that's a good rotation overall. All right, what in the world? How did that happen? Zach just charged E in the middle of the lane, and Lissandra just let him and just took it. So distracted by this cannon minion aggroing him that he doesn't do anything about it. Okay, let's see if he gets out. He does get interrupted during the E. He has ults. He doesn't get it off in time. This is great. That's a really good pick. I don't really think it should work, considering Lissandra had flash, E, and R, and Zach channeled in the middle of lane, but capitalizing on mistakes like that is what's going to win you games. So definitely misplay Lissandra and a good look there by Zach. So yeah, I want to start up Drake here and either look for a fight, or yeah, after the scouting from Swain, you probably just need to start up Drake. Oh, you're not going to take it. Need mid priority. Okay, so that kill's not going to mean anything then. So the play that LA did right there was we lost our mid lane, let's sack dragon and let's just all go mid. And so they were just going to all shove mid lane and just expect everyone to take dragon. So that was actually a free dragon they were giving you. And then ended up going for a pick around here. Kind of made it so you didn't start the Drake, and then you didn't actually get the objective. So I think LA was actually conceding that, especially if you timed the teleport from Lissandra, knowing that she can't join that fight. She has to join from base. Should know that that's a free dragon actually, or at least a 4v5 fight. Like maybe it's not a free dragon, but at least forces him to 4v5. But it looked like LA's plan there was to try and take mid in response. So and it looks like the response coming in from mid, maybe, I don't know, not wanting to trade that tower down in mid. We'll see how this plays out though. Lissandra's still far. Still potential for 4v5. Catch Swain right here. Catch Swain. Yeah, that's really good. You can back off after. Okay, I'll let this fight play out. Nice engage. Okay. Here's what I would like to see in that fight. The engage was good, by the way. Mechanically everyone played right. But I think the idea of how the fight could work would be a little better if you would wait after you get all these Swain cooldowns. So watch this. You guys, it even looks like you guys think about it too, and then the call was fight. So right here, great catch on Swain. You get his ult and his Zonias for free. Just completely free. If from here you just back away and you wait for your engage with Zac, you get this exact situation, and you don't take a bunch of damage over here from the Swaindle. So the Swaindle and Zhonya's is going off right about here, and anyone who walks forward, like if we just go really slowly, anyone who walks forward is going to take some damage here from Swain. And this stuffs the next engage coming in. This is like really easily bunched up for Bartle as well. And you're going to have Lysandra joining this as well with a bunch of AoE. So now we have Swain with ultimate on in the middle of 3 people when you could have taken the cooldown for free. So I really, really would have liked to see, hey, we got Swain, ult, and Zhonya's for free. Let's back off and then fight again around Dragon. Because it just makes this fight a little bit harder. Again, this engage, super good. Gonna land on 2 members. Lands on 2, gets 2 knockups, and then actually flashes to get the Lucian, and hits him mid-dash. That's actually nuts. Like, this engage is so good. That's about a dream engage as you're ever going to get. Is you get knocked up on 2 members, and then he flashes and gets Lucian out of his dash. Lucian now dashless and flashless in the middle of your team. So like, this is the best engage that you are ever going to get at this fight ever, and it still doesn't work, which is why you really need to bait out the Swain cooldowns a little bit more. Power spike is just not quite there. Let's play out the rest of this real slow and see how Lucian doesn't die. Oh, it's Lysandra. Yeah, it's all because Lysandra comes in here. And also just not getting a Braum passive to land on Lucian. Maybe a little unlucky. There were some other bodies in the way. But that's you're not going to get a better engage than that ever. And this fight's just like unwinnable at this point. Like right here, the fight's unwinnable. Yeah, can definitely bait out the Swain cooldowns a little better there, and take a better dragon fight. LeBlanc might be able to pick one up here. It has Dark Harvest, right? It's pretty good. I think the flash was prediction. Like he was going to get eat on or something, or he'd get ulted out of the chain range. I think that's what the flash was for. Oh, he just flashed in place on accident. Just fat-fingered his ignite. Still a good pick. It's a good look. LeBlanc is really, really good at that. Is after fights are over and everyone just assumes that we're going to walk to a lane and shove now, LeBlanc can just like pop in and pick up low health targets. So really good look to salvage that fight a little bit, pick up an extra kill on the backside. So this is just getting stalled out more in mid game, so this is like a really close game. So most important thing here is just going to be vision around this dragon and potentially around Herald as well, because all of the fights are going to be just erupted around this dragon pit. So I'm going to see what lane assignments we give here. We're going to get LeBlanc in side lane finally, Sivir in mid. This is exactly what you want. And then Urgot splitting. Urgot needs to concede lane to Swain here. He can't actually 1v1 the Swain. So you need to play around bot side, but having your TP down means that whoever's in side lane doesn't get to come down. So it's probably good to not start dragging up here. And yeah, Urgot knows he can't actually walk up to Swain right now, so he needs to play exactly like this. This is exactly how you want to play in side lane. Okay, and then Lysandra is going to be matching LeBlanc roam. The only thing that could have been better is if you can somehow force the LeBlanc to be in the Swain lane and the Urgot to be in the Lysandra lane. It's just easier on Urgot, but if Urgot's going to be playing like this, playing super far back, it doesn't matter. So those are your two options: is concede lane completely with Urgot, or send LeBlanc. Wow, that is aggressive to do with no vision. I think you might be okay, but I am pretty confident you face checked into their jungle completely blind and comboed on Gragas. That's not smart. You might not get punished for it right here, but this is not smart. You also know Lysandra was matching you up here, and she has to be here. So if your distortion gets interrupted, yeah, it's frustrating. Yes, you would have done more damage if you didn't EU out of your distortion, but this is not a smart play. This is just an aggressive play. See if you actually get punished for this. LeBlanc is too slippery, I guess. Nice. Interesting fight happening. Zach going too far forward here as well. Does he have passive? No. Yes. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Zach not needing to commit to that. LeBlanc not needing to start it. Maybe if Zach's engage was slightly better and he landed on someone, it would have been better, but this is... Like, yeah, the outcome from this play is good because you're chunking Gragas so much, but the potential is horrible. Like, if Lissandra is just a little bit closer, like if Lissandra is here, if he paths this way instead of down and around, his E is here and you die. So, definitely over-aggressive and not necessary. It's a good chunk. Good chunk on the Gragas. But yeah, that Lissandra's path stupid. If she path like to blue buff and then E's you actually don't get away. Likely. Anyway, good Bartle for the catch. And then let me go ahead and toggle Fog of War here so I can actually see who Zach can see as he goes in. That's a questionable engage. Yeah, you don't want this fight. Okay, yeah, Zach gonna go down and lose passive for that. It's there's no Rift Herald to get, and they're kind of on the wrong side of the map to get Dragon right now. So mid prio right now. Okay, so what should happen right there is Sivir should shove mid, like 100%. Like actually everyone should shove mid, but like Sivir especially, like needs to shove this lane, this wave right here. At least like Q it, so you can get mid prio because mid prio delays their Dragon. So we'll see how LA actually responds here. If they're gonna like 20-minute Baron or do something crazy. So like now you're gonna use a bunch of time to get mid prio. Do you see that Gragas has flash available when you do that in the face of 4 with your ADC backing, you're asking to throw the game. Like you have to be super careful. A good player eventually, when LeBlanc is just like teasing you all game and going in and like 1v4ing, like there's 4 people here. There's 4. And eventually Gragas is just gonna flash EU and you're gonna look stupid. But like in the 1 in a million chance of you like, or maybe not, one in like 5 chance of you getting a pop-off kill on their support or something doesn't mean a whole lot right now. And eventually good players are gonna figure out this LeBlanc is cocky and I'm gonna flash on him and kill him. So good players are eventually going to punish you for that. These guys didn't yet, but they might later in the game. Especially if they know you play like that. So you have to really be watching your LeBlanc Ws. It's actually super easy to catch LeBlancs, because LeBlancs always think that they're uncatchable. And so if you just like use whatever CC you have and flash, like you just get stuck. So especially because I don't think, did you go Merc this game? You did go Merc this game. Alright, maybe you're 400 IQ. And your Mercs would be enough to get through all of their CC, but Gragas is knockups, so might not be enough. But I was only mentioning that in case it happens later in the game and you get caught out. It's just not a really good habit to get into. So LA is going to be looking to do Dragon right here, and I'm not sure that this is. Let's see if this is contestable. This isn't bad. You could totally contest this. Yeah, this is fine. So let's see how you set up vision around Dragon for this, because they might just look for tower here. So you need mid prio. Shove mid. No, don't react bot. This is bad. Don't react to the tower. You can take a fight, but like, don't react to tower. Interesting. You have Sivir in mid lane and they didn't go in. Both teams a little bit uncoordinated here, but what the objective here is to get mid tower. Trading mid tower for bot this point in the game is really, really good. Yeah, that's really good. Mid tower opens up the map way more than bot does. Okay, here's a proactive TP. Let's see if we get any catches. Yep, gonna catch the Bard and maybe the Swain too. This is a really good TP. Gonna catch a couple members. Wow, did they actually get out of this? No, no way. 2 kills. This is really good. And you're gonna get a Dragon out of this, potentially. You should really Baron off this. Baron. Leave everyone Baron. This is so perfect. Please go Baron. No? Do you go Dragon? You guys got baited. Okay. LCS, every team goes Baron here. There's not that much contest. What's your DPS isn't that bad. I would call Baron, but Dragon is really safe and really free, and it keeps you scaling in a late game. But interesting. Yeah, they have TPs available. This is the safer call for sure. With Sivir DPS, you might actually not be able to get Baron, to be honest. So maybe it's just the better call. But generally, looking to ace people and look to other side of the map, you can do Baron pretty easily. Maybe not with this comp though. What was Urgot's Baron damage like? Is it even good? Actually, probably not. Okay. No, Dragon's better call there, actually. You get collapsed on with TPs at Baron and probably die. Okay, so we're like thoroughly into mid-game here. Going to be looking at more lane assignments, and looks like duo going to go bot, or going to go top again. Really trying to get this top tower. It's the last outer tower up here. If you're going to do that, you need a group with more than just your duo. You need a group with like 3 or 4 to be able to take it. And now that Dragon's not on the map, that's actually a pretty good idea. So you need to get mid priority and bot priority, and then I'll rotate top. But it looks like LA's first. So they already have mid prio, so bot has to run. Wow, Predator Gragas is actually just busted. It's a good spell shield. You might have to dump Braum though. Probably have to dump this fight. You have to dump this. Interesting. Okay, this is super aggressive. See if this actually pays off. This is a very aggressive fight that we took. Did not pay off. Okay, gotta watch your engages when you have members coming back. The reactionary engages have not been on point so far. Right here, not landing on anyone, but the one at Dragon was like actually like amazing. This one, keep the okay. This is probably gonna sound like nitpicky or harsh because I know that I know this is not a Zac player. He's not a jungle player either. Really, it's 80 carry main who got filled and he had to fill for this. But this is good to go over so that you can see what makes a good Zac engage and what doesn't. So this is my no flame criticism of how this engage goes. All right. So when you're looking to engage on Zac, or any engager, when you're looking to engage a fight, number one thing you look at is number of enemies versus number of friendlies and their proximity. So there's the there's the horrible battle lines that are drawn right now. You have Braum out in the front line in no man's land. ADC is going to be up against 4 members in a second because his front line is about to die. So that looks pretty bad. And then you have a LeBlanc and Urgot with no TP. Really, really far. So this engage is already bad, but let's take a look at what actually ends up happening, because he actually hits Swain here, which is a little bit unlucky because Lucian flashes out of it, but he's gonna flash, and he's gonna look to engage and try and ult these guys back. Lucian flashes out, and then you bring a Swain in. And Lissandra comes in at the same time. So now you have Lissandra Swain right next to your carry, your only carry in the fight. LeBlanc already knows probably this fight is like really bad and you can't do anything about it, but yeah, I think obviously you don't want to have Swain Lissandra right next to your team. Not a good engage. I'm gonna pay the price for this. So looks like a couple of bad engages is gonna mean LA actually has a lot of agency here as to what happens next in the game. What in the world did I just witness? That was man mode. Wow. Okay, that was scary. This is a 3v5. What? Wow, flexing all of the muscles. You guys are geniuses. That was actually insane. Okay. So 3v5, you guys actually take a fight that makes no sense at all and turn it into something amazing. So this is just mechanical outplay everywhere. This is actually super good. Okay. I have no clue how in the world you didn't get collapsed on, but See, the reason why this works is because 3 members are at tower here trying to get tower, which means that jungle is pretty open. So there's actually, it might look like a 5v3, but because of the members at tower, it's actually 5v2. So whoever calls this small fight right here, this is really good if you're able to catch these members without collapsing. I have no clue what in the world LA is doing here, by the way. Why are they in your jungle? No idea. Just take the tower as 5. But because they're doing this, this is super punishable. And these are the kind of mistakes that you have the ability to take advantage of when you're mechanically better than the other team. So let's take a look at how this actually plays out real slow. Because I'm pretty sure it's just LeBlanc damage comes in. And Lissandra sucks, so it doesn't lock anyone down. Swain misses E. Like, this is actually so genius. Okay, so the other reason this 3v5 is really good is that LA's missing every single ultimate. They don't have good engage tools right now, so it's actually really smart to take this. I don't know if you know this is smart to take this or if you're just trying to get kills, but it's actually like brilliant. Because they have almost no way to... That was not brilliant, but everything else. You're trying to keep the chain in range to get the kill on Bard. It doesn't matter that much, but somehow Lissandra doesn't take this. Oh, she does take that. What in the world? Okay, you guys are just better than them. Oh, Lucian's kind of trolling. This fight is so good. Like, this is exactly how you salvage a fight. It's just, I have no idea how in the world mechanically this happened. Oh, trying to keep the chain in range to do the damage, I see. Gets rooted and hit by Swain. Oh, Lucian didn't have vision in the bush. That actually cost them the fight. Watch Lucian this fight. It must feel so bad to beat him. He actually doesn't have vision on, like, anyone. So he tries to go forward. Invisible LeBlanc. Sivir in a bush. Can't actually do his DPS. Urgot finds the kill on Bard in the backside with the flash ult. That's really, really good. This is good again. The rest of his team's recalling. You could probably take this. Okay, Lissandra's gonna do it. Wow, this is a fiesta. Oh, Lissandra has flash. Whew. Alright. What was that? Gragas ultimate? What? Okay. Wow, and it's still going. And it's still going. Wait. Oh, so close. Okay. Crazy mechanical fight in that jungle. I have no idea what in the world just happened. 3v5 winning fights. Insane. Mostly gonna call that lucky that that LeBlanc didn't get CC'd. The way that Lucian played it, if you look at it, it's easy to tell, like from hindsight it's easy to tell, but in the moment it's hard to do this as Lucian, but he actually needs to be way further forward. If you take a look at where his positioning actually is. So LeBlanc is gonna get rooted and hit by Swain passive, and that's when Lucian needs to dash in and DPS, and if he does, LeBlanc dies and this fight's over. But he also like doesn't want to do it. Right here, LeBlanc full combo Bard and dash forward. He's the only place that LeBlanc can actually go is here. And then your next R can send you like here at best. So Lucian's dash forward is late in this fight. And there it is. And then he dashes into this bush that has a Sivir in it. So I'm not sure I would always take that fight on paper beforehand, but you guys made it work. Nice. Alright, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's get to some more action. Because this fiesta was real fiesta. Okay, let's see what you guys actually end up getting off of this, because you can get some Baron Vision here. You have more members in them, and they recalled. I really want to see more Baron Vision instead of this recall, just for like 5 seconds delay your recall. You get this pink, you maybe get some wards down. It'd be a lot better. Because that's the next objective on the map anyway, so you're probably going to path all the way from base to get here anyway. So like, why not just take the short route and end up recalling if you have to? But like, anyway, probably not a huge deal either way. But you might lose out on some Baron vision. Probably gonna lose out on some Baron vision here. So you need mid prio to do anything in mid late game. So that's why Sivir's super strong. You can get mid prio really fast with that champion, and then look to get vision around objectives. So looks like everybody's looking for the next Drake. Pretty sure Baron's not gonna be taken for a while. So name of the game is mid priority, and then rotate to dragon to get vision. Probably nothing gonna happen here until the dragon fight. Okay. So looks like dragon actually just straight up gets started up, and you guys drag it out. Gonna wait for Zac to smite it, I guess. He has to E in to smite this. It makes the next fight really hard if you make him E. Okay, nice. Wow. They need to engage. Gragas was super chunked though, so that was, I don't know who chunked him, but that's probably a good call to do this after their jungler's chunk. It's gonna force an engage when they have a chunked member, but this is like probably a really good fight for LA to take. You have flanking Swain, and you have Lissandra going to be in the middle of your team. So let's let this fight play out. If I have to predict what actually happens, this looks pretty good for LA. It depends on if LA's DPS can get into the fight and if Swain stays out of the fight. But yeah, and item-wise, LA's comp can totally fight right now. Gazonia's on multiple members. Lissandra's a little weak right now, but it's probably not that big of a deal. Lucian's got his spike. Sivir really wants that third item. Sivir would probably carry this fight if you had full Infinity Edge. Although you might be going GA, actually. Interesting, GA. Well, you might need that with all the frontline. Anyway, let's let this fight play out. Lissandra didn't take that. And they still engage. Okay, Silver's gonna get screwed here. You probably have to dump. That's a really good Zac engage, but your damage is dead. Never mind, your damage is Urgot. Nice, that should be a kill. Yeah. This is a super scrappy fight. Lucian's really low, but Swain's still full. Wow! Actually got that guy. He almost lived. Okay. So, LA is probably going to win that fight. More times than not. Because of the positioning of Swain. So Swain exactly, that's like a dream fight for LA's comp. Is Lissandra on one side and Swain on the other flanking. But you guys end up getting 3 kills out of it too, which really makes it so they can't get much afterwards. But as far as team fight sightlines go, I think taking this fight on purpose is a little bit foolish. And it's only foolish because you're committing to the dragon, not because you're committing to the fight. So let's talk a little bit about team compositions and what each team wants to do. So LA needs Swain flanking, and you want Lissandra flanking. So the reason you do that is because when you flank, you get to be closer to enemies you wouldn't normally get to be close to. So you can get next to a Sivir in a backline, or a LeBlanc who's just finished comboing and goes back to distortion pad. When you flank, you can get next to those champions who you would never be able to be next to unless you were on the opposite side. So flanking really good against backline. You got a couple of backline champions here who need to fight in a straight line and not in a circle in order to really be effective. Whereas all of these champions do really well in circle fights. Whereas these champions want to do rectangular long fights in a corridor like this, where your team gets to stand over here and the other team has to stand over there. And really what LA wants to do is they want to get you grouped up, and they want to hit you from everywhere with all of the AoE from Swain and Lissandra. So as far as setting up team fights, this should change the way that you approach this fight. You should know your win condition is, hey, when we team fight, we are just a Sivir comp. What we do is we press R and we run at somebody. You run at one somebody or one group of somebody. So you need to commit to one side of this fight if you want to win this team fight. So the way that you would do it is you've got Swain on this side and you've got everybody else on that side. So you need to either commit all go Swain. Sounds like a bad idea. He's got, you know, Zhonya's, and he's got his ultimate, and so he's going to be really, really hard to actually kill. You're probably going to get collapsed on from the other side if you do that. But if you actually go ahead and collapse on these guys, who backs them up? So what I'd like to see here, because Swain is going to be too far, and remember Gragas is chunked on this side over here. So I'd really like to see, like, Gragas can't join really anywhere. And right here, if you're going to take this fight, like if you want this dragon, great. Kill them first, take dragon later. So getting this dragon, Lysandra really should have engaged on you when she did. But then you decide, hey, let's get dragon and fight after. Get dragon, fight after allows them to flank you. So it's why you lost the fight. So let's just imagine for a second that you're all on the same page and you're all like, we don't like circle fights, we like rectangle fights. Let's go get a rectangle fight. So right here is your rectangle of team fighting. And over here is your no-no zone where Swain is. And you don't go over there. You go over here. So imagine Zach engaging onto any of these three members here. The fight's going to be much easier for you to win than, and because the follow-up is from Swain on this side. Imagine everyone walking over here with Sivir. Swain has to run with his little feet, his slow little feet, into this fight. And then Gragas has no HP and can't actually engage here. So best thing in this situation is to engage on 3 and then fight dragon after. If you watch the way this plays out, Lysandra doesn't take this because, again, inexperienced Lysandra player, I think. By the way, she's not using her actor shock. Like, this is exactly what you want in an engage, but I don't know why she doesn't take this, especially if the call is we're going to engage. You take that, you W a couple members, ult yourself, you're in a pretty good spot. You're damaging 3 members. Sivir maybe hits you, but you have Swain to zone him away. So like you have Swain walk up this way and zone Sivir off the fight, and then you just focus these 3 members as LA, and you win pretty easily with all your DPS that comes in. Ooh, typing is really hard in Epic Pen. Your DPS with Lucian comes in right here, and you're able to DPS this side while this side is all zoned by Swain, because Swain still has everything available, and this is exactly what he wants to do in a team fight. Like, and you guys know this. You guys play a lot of Swain, especially in top. So you want to get the flank and then just zone their carry away, especially in a situation like this where you can actually zone them out. So I actually think that's a really good idea for LA to take this fight, which is probably why it goes so well for them. So if you watch this fight, it's kind of chaotic. Everyone's kind of everywhere. Sivir ends up getting stunned out of this by Lysandra. Maybe it's good Lysandra waited and got the ult on him, but regardless, you're getting flanked by Swain here at the same time. You're actually basically 4v5. Like, Gragas isn't really in this. And it's still really, really good for LA. So, even though that counter engage by Zach is, that's god tier, right? That's like amazing. Like, that's exactly what you want. And Urgot is damage, so you pick up a couple of kills here. But pretty sure LA still wins this fight. So end up getting a couple kills off of this, which is really good. I feel like mechanically you guys are just better. To be honest, I feel like you guys are straight up better mechanically than these guys, but the way that you're playing around fights is making it a little bit hard on yourself. Does he get this? I think he does, right? Yeah. So yeah, definitely a difficult fight, but I don't think LA gets too much off of this, and it was pretty close, so let's go ahead and see. Let's fast forward a bit. See how you guys reset, recover from this. The team fighting is really volatile here. You really need to commit really hard to one side with Sivir to be able to do much of anything. Okay, nice. So you've got LeBlanc in the Swain lane. How does this go? It's pretty good. Yeah, so this lane assignment's actually pretty decent. We might get baited in here as their duos trying to bait you into all in the Swain. This point in the game, it's definitely possible for you to kill Swain, and I think they kind of know that. Wow, that's a catch. Not quite. Okay, plan here should be Baron Vision. You're not gonna catch him. Baron Vision, Baron Vision. Come on, you see the pink right here. Come on. See if this... Okay, the 1v1. Good outplay. You have Zonias too, right? No? Does that still kill him? Unlucky. You don't have Zonias yet. Unlucky. Lives with 1 HP. It's a good dodge. Yeah, unlucky. He barely Zonias in time. Doesn't die to Ignite by like 5 HP. Probably gets picked up here. This is... yeah, later. Okay, this fight sucks. Sivir has to do everything in this fight. Is it possible? Let's find out. I don't think there's any chance you win this. Dissolution int? It's only a way. Yeah, okay. Fight's kind of over from Zach goes and Sivir's too far. That's kind of the reason why. And down a member and had to kind of overextend to pick up the 1-for-1, so good job getting out with Sivir ult. Still really even game, honestly. Okay, next dragon that comes up is Infernal. Definitely want to be fighting for this, so good job getting mid prio first. That's exactly what you want to do. Lissandra's going to be a little bit stuck with this wave, so definitely want to get that before going to dragon. And then you've got Great Vision set up here. If you're going to fight, again, look for the Sivir comp fight, which is pop R and run at somebody, and try and avoid getting flanked. So Sivir comps are actually really, really good at dealing with this kind of comp, because you can just ignore one of the flankers, but that's a lot of damage taken. I don't know if you're gonna still win fights. Yeah, Urgot's gonna be pretty low. It might back and TP in. Or just back off completely. Yeah, back and TP in, he's too low, yeah. Okay, so looks like gonna try and take a fight here. So you got a good TP ward. Here's the TP ward. This would be a better TP. Oh, here's the TP ward right here. Alright, so here's the fight. Zach has to engage. Alright, let's, here are your, flankers. Actually, he's gonna be in the middle of the pit here, so this will be an interesting fight. Really dependent on Zach engage, how this fight goes, and then how well, you're able to, secondary engage with Braum Urgot. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this fight. Barely missing the knock up there on Lucian. Sivir's not able to really DPS anything here. Swain is being Swain. Mink probably not able to get anything off that either. Still fighting with your Sivir is good, but... okay. So Ellie's gonna win that fight. Let's take a look at why. Alright. So... first thing is LeBlanc's positioning to start this fight. Looks like she's unprepared for the fight to start. She really, really, really wants to get this flank. Like, really wants to be on this side over here with the Urgot. But kind of a little bit too far to do much. And so when this fight actually starts, look how far away LeBlanc is compared to Zach. Like, really, like over a screen away. So it's really hard for LeBlanc to get into this fight. So maybe a little bit early on the trigger pull. Maybe you should wait for LeBlanc to get to here and then pull the trigger on the engage. The danger with that is Dragon's already at 3k. It might go down in the time that LeBlanc flanks, which you don't really want to give the Infernal and then fight, or have to smite it and then hope it's a 50-50 smite and then take the fight after. It's better to take the fight while the Dragon's still low. So I think the timing on the engaging is pretty good. The execution's a little bit unlucky, as he just slightly missed his ult right here. Kind of knocked him up instead of like wanting to port him back like he was definitely trying to do. And then this positioning right here is still a Swain flank, even though it doesn't really look like it. And it's because of how the engage happened. So if you take a look at Swain's positioning on the top side here, Sivir cannot enter this fight. Or if she does, the only person he hits is Swain. So that's what actually ends up happening in this fight, is that the only person that Sivir can safely hit is Swain. So there's two ways to deal with this. Is as Sivir, you pop ult and you ignore Swain. And you dive backline with your team. Also, kind of a crappy engage to follow up on. I wouldn't really want to follow up on that. Unlucky that that's the situation that you're in. Really slight mechanical misplay, just not holding R long enough. Feels bad, but that does happen. Like, people aren't mechanically perfect, so that is going to happen in engages. And then LeBlanc is pretty far, and so going to be difficult to really get onto Lucian at all. And if you watch real slow, what ends up happening here is LeBlanc is about to enter the fight, and basically the engage has already happened. Sivir is completely zoned out of this, and it's really the determining factor in this fight is that Sivir is not DPSing. The only person that she can DPS is Swain. Swain still has Zhonya's available, so you either need to ignore and just hold forward and play your Sivir comp and try and DPS someone, or you need to wait for your LeBlanc flank to be able to DPS, or you need to find a fight where Swain is standing next to his backline and not off to the side and front line up here. So that's a really awkward fight to start, and it's not really Sivir's fault for not DPSing, but it might be Sivir's fault for not moving forward. It sounds super counterintuitive because AD carry players always sit in back and hit whatever is in front of them safely, but with this comp, like I said, it's a pseudo tank comp. So you have Sivir, Lissandra. There is no front line to hit. They're pseudo tanks. They're not tanks. You can't DPS them. So you actually have to dive around and intentionally hit targets that you wouldn't normally hit in a team fight like this to be able to win it. So super awkward fight, and LA's going to take this pretty hard. Also, LeBlanc just not in position to get enough of the DPS on important members. So now Sivir finally is able to go forward, and the only person she's able to DPS is Swain, who still has Zhonya's. And it's a little bit sad, because there's really not anything that you guys can do here. There's really not any low members for Urgot to pick up. I mean, that's a good play there to pick up a kill on Bard, but it's gonna go down anyway. I think if you like distort back and pick up Bard, that's actually pretty great. I want to actually watch that again. Gets out, W's out, distorts back, picks up the kill on Bard, and then has another distortion to get out. And if Gragas weren't there, maybe you get out. It looks like, for the most part, mechanically, you guys are just outclassing LA, but LA's comp is maybe a little bit easier to pull off, but Sivir comps are pretty easy too. It's just the way that this fight happened is going to favor LA because of the distance with your flankers, who started here and here, and the distance of your AD versus the distance of your engage. And that is another reason why a lot of teams don't run Zac jungle as much, is because his engage range is so far, it's actually pretty hard to follow up on unless he lands it like perfectly. So maybe if he ults the Lucian back, when Lucian is here and he ults him back into your DPS, maybe Sivir can actually kill him, or maybe Urgot can CC him and you kill him. But yeah, that fight is awkward. So definitely, for people looking at this to try and get something out of it, the thing to take away from this fight is when you engage, the range that your carries are at matters more than the effectiveness of your engage. So even though like that engage wasn't super effective from Zac, like he got a knock up on Lucian really briefly and then kind of messed up his ult and wasn't able to flash and kidnap him like he wanted to. So he gets like a knock up on Gragas. But like if you look at how the fight is right now, if LeBlanc is here and Urgot is here, you win the fight, like, because you're going to DPS this guy. but because he's so far away, that LeBlanc and Urgot they're down here. You're not actually able to DPS. So the most important thing with engage isn't necessarily mechanical perfection and putting this guy, you know, in the middle of your team and getting him perfectly. It's really more about, hey, is my team able to follow up in time? Or are they going to take too long and is Lucian just going to get away? And that's what happens in this one, is that the DPS is too far away, Lucian gets out. Right here, this is where he has time to get away. Last thing I'm going to point out in this fight, if you are a Bard player, watch how this Bard uses ult. It's actually so smart. So imagine LeBlanc distortioning on your AD carry. Look at the positioning of his Bard ult right here. So he positions it in a way that if LeBlanc distorts, you actually are going to CC the LeBlanc. Really, really smart. It might seem like, oh, that's such a small thing. Literally works against LeBlanc every time. Super frustrating when you play against a good Bard player as LeBlanc, because you can predict distortions pretty easily, and you can just stuff them. And stuffing one distortion in a fight can actually really turn it, because you're basically making their mid laner not hit who they want to. So if you can stuff an assassin, you generally do. Really small thing, really, really good thing. Also, if you mess up and you hit your AD, who cares? He's invincible. So if you use Bard ult to zone away from assassins, it's really, really good. Okay, last thing in that fight. Let's move on and look at what LA gets out of the rest of this fight. I think afterwards, Infernal's still on the map and Baron's still on the map, so let's see what LA actually does with it. They're going to be a little bit low after this fight as well, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get both, but they might try. So let's see how quickly they get it. Gonna reset, look for Baron Vision. Looks like they get a couple picks around with their Baron Vision. Okay. So looks like LA's gonna get like 2 picks right here is what I'm reading in the timeline. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, your AD is in base. You gotta chill with the walking up in engage range. So the engage from their team is Lissandra Bard, and they have really good follow-up engage with like Gragas, or Gragas can even engage himself. It's just whichever one starts the engage, they have like great follow-up, like Lissandra Gragas. So you have to be really, really careful about walking up. The only thing that you need to get is Baron Vision, and they've got it pinked. So you either need multiple members to have control wards. Like, look, you've got 2 control wards currently in your inventory. Use them to delay. Maybe you lose a couple of pink wards in the Baron pit, but you just stuff in the back of the pit, make sure they're not doing this. And then they go and clear one out, and then you dance around a bit, and then you rinse and repeat, and you put another one there, and they come and clear it out, and then you dance around a bit, and then your AD's in the fight. So that's what you need to do to get Baron Vision correctly around here. They're going to start a fight here. Looks like they get a couple of members as well. I think what happens here, I think I actually remember casting this live, is I think Urgot actually goes forward and takes this fight, and Sever's not in the fight yet. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. Wow, that's a really good engage. Alright, no, that's not what happened at all. I mean, great, 4-man Zac ult, but your DPS is gone. So, just, yeah, this should be a lost game, by the way. Like, 100% LA should win off this. It's super textbook. You win a fight at Infernal, you go to Baron, you get Baron Vision, you make a pick with a good engage, you get Baron, run to a tower, end the game. Barring no mistakes from LA, this is a win for LA. If they don't mess up, the game's over, and there's actually nothing that you guys would be able to do if they make 0 mistakes. So, but I also know the outcome of this game, so let's take a look at the mistakes that they make that you guys end up abusing to make this game go even longer. This is a great contest. They're so... Wow, what in the world? They stopped DPSing Baron. What are they afraid of? That's a great contest. You always want to do that in a scenario where you're playing LeBlanc. They get low at Baron, you want to contest that, and now you're going to get a pick on Swain. That's pretty good. Alright, that's really, really good. Let's take a look at the reasons why that works on LeBlanc. Should be pretty simple. Low members plus lots of damage on the Blanc equals very dangerous Baron take. There's no vision for this, that's why it's so hard. Dark Harvest, by the way. If you get your E-Ignite on that guy, you might even die too, but that's probably a good port back. Yeah, that's such a good port back. Stuffs the Lysandra too. Then you guys see Swain coming in from back and walk down. Actually ended up clearing some vision out. That's questionable, but ends up working out, I guess. And then turn on Flanker and kill him. Bard ult kind of trolled too. Watch this Bard ult. He's going to zone Yaz, and he's going to dodge the Bard ult coming from his team. And then kind of didn't really work out. So really good contest there by LeBlanc to like walk up and DPS somebody at Baron. It was actually contestable. They got super low. Gragas is building like full AP, so they didn't have frontline to tank that. Swain was in base. Lysandra can't really tank it too well. Dangers of full AP Gragas, because you can't tank Baron. If that's, by the way, if that's tank Gragas, you get the Baron and win the game. Oh, Gragas steals this, doesn't he? That's so sad. Okay. Okay, so Gragas steals this, and that's really unfortunate. You cannot blame your jungler for this. This is not your jungler's fault. And here's why. Okay. Full vision. 1 versus 5. Who else is... No one's even here. It's literally one... Who would win? An entire team guarding a Baron or one fat boy? Apparently the fat boy wins. So... You guys know you gotta zone jungler away. He has smite. He's a higher level. He's 15. Your Zac is 14. You guys intentionally take a 50-50 smite. This is not good. This is a no-no. What needs to happen here is someone needs to zone, or here's the easier option, because zoning looks super hard right now. No one really has a cooldown to zone him away. Actually, in this comp, it's kind of just hard in general to zone him away. So what you do is you stop DPSing the Baron. This is at 1800. He can't smite it. Last I checked, he doesn't do 1800 damage with his smite. So what you want to do is the second that he comes in, everyone stops DPS and you kill Gragas. Every jungler in like D5 and below is going to go into the pit when it's at like 1500, because their smite does 1,000-ish, just under 1,000 at this point. I think it does like 870 at level 15, right? 850. And he's going to be looking to smite steal. Like everyone on this team, everyone in this game, everyone watching knows that Gragas is trying to steal Baron. And the only reason that he does is because someone DPS's Baron at 1800. So let's take a look. 1700, still not in the pit. In the pit. 1700. Nobody hit the Baron. Can't go wrong. He's one auto attack from getting stunned. That's actually kind of unlucky. So Sivir Q hits Baron, and then it's in smite range for him. There's a stun. He's actually stunned. He smites while stunned. That's actually kind of broken. It's a little bit unlucky. It shouldn't happen, but the way that you guys are standing is doing damage to Baron, and Baron loses 900 HP. Someone should be standing here so that when Gragas body slams, he's like all the way over here, instead of, he actually got to slam into the pit. So Braum, go stand here probably. Also, I don't know if he has ult or not, but like Braum, use E to block his ult when he comes in. He actually does have ult available. I don't know why he didn't use it. He could have attempted to smite steal with that as well, but definitely could have blocked this better. I won't belabor the point, you guys know. Yeah, actually a little bit unlucky that it gets DPS down too. That's a lot of damage to be dealing to Baron. Okay, let's see what ends up happening afterwards. It's like super tilting for that to happen to you in a 5v1 scenario. Like the way that you recover from that is really important, because it's very easy to just like fall over and die and just be like, oh, my jungler missed smite, or no one zoned the enemy jungler away and we just lost Baron even though we should have won Baron. So recovering from this is super important. Able to shove some lanes, you might even get a tower. Super important for sure. And then let's see how LA does this. That's a free tower, you gotta give that. Okay, good. Braum got out of that. Alright, so call is 4v4 engage. Hopefully you did time the Swain TP. Should know that he has no TP. He TP'd to Baron earlier. The two ways to deal with Baron are intentionally give an inhibitor and wait for Baron to go out, or fight at this moment. So this is really good. You fight at one of these towers, because it's easier to engage on than one of these towers. So definitely want to do an inner tower over inhibitor tower. And let's see how this engage actually pans out. This is potentially good. So let's see who you end up catching. Unlucky, you didn't catch anybody. Maybe not, maybe you did catch somebody. And never mind. Trying really, really hard to force this. I like the play a lot. Ended up not working. Now 5 members top, you can seed this and defend here. It'd be really good for Mink to get a ward on Dragon there if he has one in his inventory. I don't know if he has one. He does. Maybe you should go Sweeper, but if you have the yellow trinket, you should really go. Alright, this is going to be engage from Zach. Oh, I remember casting this. This is a really cool fight. Okay. This is a harder fight to engage than the one that you did before, but it baits them in more. Now, here's why this fight works. Sivir comp. Rectangle. Backline, standing next to Swain. And a good Zac engage. Let's watch. JK, not a good Zac engage. I remember this fight going well. Right? Am I crazy? Somebody engages here, right? Whoa. I forgot about that. That's actually nutty. Okay, so let's just undo everything I just said, because that engage did not go how I remembered it at all. My memory is trolling me. Okay. I think the engage got stuffed by Gragasy, right? Zac got E'd out of his Galactic Slingshot, I'm pretty sure. And then you guys end up winning the fight anyway, which is nuts. Okay, let's take a look before I judge this fight. Yeah, right here. This is the interaction if you ever play Zac into Gragas, or Gragas into Zac, or whatever. Look at this. No engage for you. Now he's kind of stuck in the middle of nothing. Ends up dying too. How do you win this fight? No way. You're insane. Getting a recall off and coming from base with full HP. The snipe. Whew. This is really good. You guys have been mechanically outplaying them all game. Just like taking fights that should honestly be in LA's favor, and a lot of them just aren't. What a snipe. That's actually nuts. Right next to the Bard too. There's like nothing you can do. That's what happened? That's how you had enough damage to kill him? There's a static Shiv proc from Nighthawk that actually procced onto Lucian and made it so that he gets eaten by Urgot. That interaction is insane. You guys see that? Dude, let's watch one more time. You guys are like the scrappiest team winning these fights that don't make sense, and then mechanics just... If that was on purpose, that's like 400 IQ. He might just be trying to clear the wave and it ended up working out, but watch this. Urgot ult lands. Here's the HP from Lucian. Is not in Urgot ult range yet. It's like he's not going to get eaten yet. And then watch this. Static Shiv. And now it's high enough. Or it's low enough, he gets eaten by Urgot. Pretty crazy. And then once Lucian is down in the fight, it actually kind of baits everybody else in. Swain goes forward, no Zhonya's, he's going to go down too. End up chasing these guys down, and Mink has a really cool Zhonya's here as well. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, you guys are like a really good scrappy team, finding a lot of fights that are really, really hard to win and then coming out on top somehow. So, this is going to mean potential Elder right here. Should just be free Elder. Alright, let's see where you guys go with Elder. This should be winnable for you guys. Kind of remember more bad things happening though. Okay, you've got Elder. The real objective here is to force a fight, which is really hard to do when the only objective left on the map is towers for you to take, and you're not a siege comp. So it kind of forces you to either dive or catch a split pusher or something, which is a really awkward way to start a fight with Elder, but let's see what ends up happening. You have pretty decent dive. Sivir comps are great at diving. Zac is great at diving. Okay. I don't particularly like the play, but let's let it at least play out all the way. Trade 1 for 1. Here comes the Sivir damage though. This could work. Really close. Nice. You'll get something off of this. It's just Gragas. Okay, I remember. And then you go for a mid-inhib and Gragas gets a random kill with his ult because you don't think it's off cooldown yet. I remember this. So, that fight going for picks in red jungle, I think that's not your win condition for the next fight. Or maybe it was just the execution was a little bit off. But this is not something that should happen. Like, Gragas shouldn't be here because he could get picked, and then you guys go to collapse. And yeah, just the way that Mink comboed right there with chain first means he can't get the second chain out because he queued after. I'll call that mechanical misplay. I mean, it's kind of hard to... It's like late in the game and you just got like bush ganked by a Gragas, so it's hard to be like, I need a combo perfectly and think about that in time, but definitely don't want to chain a Banshee's target first. It's going to eat your chain. It was a great counter engage by LA, but if Sivir gets this fight with Elder, generally it goes pretty well. So... Oh, and Rick's still on tower too, so it took a second for him to get to the fight. So this is actually just Sivir damage. Sivir damage right here. And then Urgot actually popping off. That's really, really good. Yeah, so this was basically a 4v5 that you guys won. Like, if you take a look at this actual fight... Wait, how did Lissandra die so early? They keep mechanically misplaying really bad. This Lissandra died without ulting. Here's Lissandra. CC'd. Airborne. CC'd again. Okay, that was really good play by Godless. So Godless completely stuffed Lissandra engage, and she had time to ult, but she would have had to have been spamming self ult the entire time for it to go off. Really low chance that happens. Really, really good play. That's probably what carried this fight more than anything else, to be honest. Just watch Godless's ult right here. It's gonna go right on top of the Lissandra. He sees Lissandra E right here. Boom. Immediate glacial fissure. The only person he's trying to hit is Lissandra. It's actually perfect. He ends up like zoning these guys too. He ends up zoning right here, but Lissandra's the only guy he's trying to hit. And then immediately, yeah, this is 100% intentional from Godless, because you can tell he actually ignites as well. He ignites Lissandra and Qs and autos. So this is actually him hard carrying this fight, because he stuffed the engage. Just like you can stuff the engage with like Gragas into Zac, like you can stuff Lissandra by CC chaining her before she can self ult or Zhonya's. So yeah, there's like a frame where he's not stunned. Like right now he's not stunned, and he could ult if he was like spamming his alt R keys. He could ult right now, but he's actually not going to have enough time to do it and end up going down. The CC chain was really, really good. It was almost impossible to react to. And then after Lissandra's down, it basically makes it a 4v4. And it's a 4v4 when you have Elders, so you should win it. Like one Sivir auto on Lucian does that much damage. So this fight's looking really, really good. Yeah, Sivir just doing a ton of damage in this fight, and that was a really good ult by Rick as well to fear a couple of members here and finish off the Lucian. Like, watch the way he team fights this. Is actually really good. He's gonna walk. He's actually gonna walk left. Right here. Walks left and picks up the Lucian. It's actually really good. And then he gets the multi-man fear as well, and then Sivir can clean up this fight. I think Sivir maybe could have gone a little bit harder up there. I think... Oh, a little bit of a split call. Rick wanted to finish the fight, which would have been really good, and actually Sivir Braum go for mid tower. Slightly split call. Right here. They didn't realize that Urgot has this interaction where if he kills someone with his ultimate, these guys are both feared. Like, this guy's feared, this guy's feared, he pops Stone Plate. So you have an invincible Urgot who's fearing people, and the only person here is Gragas. And I think bot lane is just not aware of Urgot power spike and like how strong he is in team fights, because I see this and I immediately go, oh, we won the fight, it's over. And they see this and they're like, oh shoot, this guy's getting 3-manned by the, I guess, the Lucian who's like in his belly, and then by these two guys who wouldn't be feared if, you know, if you didn't know how Urgot works. So I kind of get why they're like, let's go mid lane, it's going to be better, we'll get the tower for free. And might actually end up being better had they all gone tower here, but this is really good from Urgot, so I actually would prefer them to follow up right here instead of flash backwards. Yeah, I actually don't need to flash that at all. Gragas already had ulted in the fight too, I'm not sure if he caught that. But either way, you come back into this fight and kill everyone. But imagine if you don't flash out, Rick might not even die. Nice. Okay, so what ends up happening here is you push mid, and then full AP Gragas like one-shots your Sivir and you don't get inhib. It's kind of tragic. Yeah, you didn't know his ult was off cooldown. It's really, really low cooldown. It's 48 seconds for the record. But yeah, you just didn't see the ult coming right here. And Zhonya's Gragas ult. So, unfortunately, you don't get the tower because of that, but small thing. Gragas ult goes really, really low cooldown when you have 40 CDR. He does, I'm pretty sure he has 40 CDR, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, yeah. Maybe 45 even. What did he take in rims? I don't know, can't see. But really low cooldown. So, okay, let's take a look what happens the rest of this, because this game is still actually pretty even. Like 45 minutes in, this is a super even game. So just go ahead and fast forward until something interesting happens. Alright, so dancing around Baron Vision here. What really needs to happen is rinse and repeat. You get mid priority, and then you look for vision, and you look for picks. So, this point in the game, buy a sweeper. Mid lane should really have sweeper. And jungle should have sweeper too. It's pretty important. Vision denials. Super important this late into the game. Top laner generally keeps yellow trinket forever. You can go sweeper too if you're not going to be splitting. So, if you're not splitting against Swain, which you pretty much haven't been splitting against Swain all game, sweeper is good too. But yeah, it'll help your team out a lot. The extra yellow trinkets aren't bad, but you have, you should have one pink at all times from all of your members. And at this stage in the game, you start to not get it because you're at the 6 item slot. But you should have pinks and 3 sight wards for from your support, which should just rotate based on which objective is up, and that's generally enough vision. So maybe like 1 yellow trinket is good. 3 yellow trinkets is a little much. Probably should have at least one of those be a sweeper, if not 2. Okay, so LA looks for engage here. Okay, when you check for vision, when you go ward, when you check for vision, the checklist is who can face check, who is tanky enough to face check, and where are my team members if a fight breaks out. This is really obvious. LeBlanc is top. LA wants to fight. They get it. They're gonna win this fight. You need to immediately dump your support and get out. So the second this happens, boom. You see this Lissandra E? You see he's been CC'd already. You see he blew his flash earlier. He's gone. Everyone back. Especially Sivir. Especially Sivir back. Sivir sticks around to try and salvage the fight a little bit and tries to be like, alright, it's a team fight. Right there, this pathing. This pathing right here. Not straight back, and then Bard ult comes in. No spell shield. Spell shield is the Lissandra ultimate. Good mechanical play, but not enough. And then this fight actually looks sort of decent for Urgot too. Like maybe if you just fight that, maybe it's good. You guys have won some 4v5s all game. Terrible, terrible. Lissandra, Zonya's right there. I don't know what's going on. This team is so scared. And then I remember this. This is so sad. LA in a 5v3 don't contest inhibitor. They're actually so scared of Minx LeBlanc that they don't get this inhib. 30 seconds on the bot lane, they ping danger and walk away. How the fights have gone so far this game though, maybe they're right. Maybe you guys do win a 3v5 right there, but seriously. I think you get the mid inhib and then you pressure Elder. So let's see what ends up happening if the Elder is enough. So, okay. So what I think the takeaways from this game is that, honestly, if LA's shot calling was good, you guys don't win this. Because they should have gotten this free Elder. Or they should have taken this inhibitor and then you guys have to mechanically outplay a 3v5, which maybe you do and you win. But there's no reason not to get the Elder. It's only 14k. You have Lucian with like Blade of the Ruined King. They really should be doing Elder here. But your guys' shot calling is actually really good here, because seeing this in late game, it's really, really important to be decisive. It's even more important than being right, it's being decisive. And you guys are like, we're going to go start Baron. Something is going to happen. I really like this. Mink ends up getting a pick, free Baron. And 3v5 in LA's favor at the inhib, they're like, let's not. 4v5 for you guys, and you're like, let's go Baron immediately. Also good pick. Also good pick. I don't know how this happens. I think Swain is looking to face check. Just like inadequate vision. Oh, he's a monkey. Yeah, that's pretty bad from Swain. He should know. He should really know not to walk there. They have blue trinket, right? And he's Swain. He's freaking Swain. He can just W the Baron. I wonder if he tried to W Baron. That's why he died. No, his W's... No. He just walked up and died. Unlucky. Okay, so this is Baron. You guys try it again, even though it got stolen one time. Should go your way this time. And they're too scared to actually do anything. They should really contest this, but they're not going to. Are they? Oh, they are going to. Nice. Okay. Oh, they're late. Nothing ends up happening, right? Okay. You guys have a Baron. Elder is on the map. Objective is use the Baron to shove lanes, and then once some lanes are shoved, at least mid priority is when you would go Elder. Okay, here's the setup. You guys do have mid prio here. Okay. If you guys win this fight, the game's over because you have mid priority. So this is a good setup for you guys. Most important thing is win the fight. Even more important than Elder, unless they're giving Elder for free. You should know that Swain's going to TP to this fight. So what needs to happen is your sweeper needs to be used to actually kill wards to try and deny things, which would be really good if Mink has a sweeper right here to be able to deny a potential ward that he could TP to. But if you take a look, there's actually no wards for him to TP to. The only ward he has is this one here. So I would actually be a fan of clearing this ward because of TP, but it's really hard to know that. Basically, this fight is going to be super determining of the game. There's two things you can do here. You can either take the fight, or you can push mid and try and siege/dive and not take a potential flank from Swain. One is not necessarily better than the other, especially considering how fights at towers have gone all game. I think there's no problem with taking this. That's just the other option. If you're running another team comp that is better at diving, or if you're running Alistar instead of Braum here, it's much better to just dive this tower. Much better. Because you don't need Elder to win the game. You have mid prio and Baron, so if you win a fight, it's over. And this is a potential 50-50 smite. So, and it's a potential flank fight, so I would say if I were just looking at the compositions and I hadn't watched the game up until this point, I would say you want to go mid and try and dive with your Baron buff. I don't know if your wave is big enough. You'd have to kill the entire wave. Depends on how good your shove is. Well, let's take a look at the fight. So Swain's going to TP to this. He has to. Here's the engage. Really good Braum. Or Bard ultimate. Alright, let's just watch it. Sivers here, we win. Nice. Oh my gosh, you guys went off this. Crazy game. Okay. Let's look at why. Let's look at why you win the game right here. Okay. The way this fight is set up, take a look at a couple of things position-wise. You've got your front line up here. It's, let me see if I can get that to go away. Here we go. So here's your front line. You've got Urgot and Braum right here. Great. Zach still can look for engage. He hasn't engaged yet. And Swain isn't actually on your backline zoning. It's Lissandra zoning. So let's just take this real slow. This is good. This is good for right now because what's going to happen is their DPS is hitting your front line, which is what you want. And your DPS is supposed to be able to get into this fight, but Nighthawk actually plays this really well. It's going to flash the wall to this side and re-enter the fight after counter engage. So this is actually really good. If, by the way, if Nighthawk stays here and he doesn't flash the wall and he just plays front to back against pseudo tanks, he loses. So this is really important that he did this. Because the only people that he's going to be able to realistically hit in this fight from his current positioning are Swain, Lissandra. Pseudo tanks, they don't actually take damage when you hit them. Swain heals it, Lissandra's invincible. So really important the way he plays this fight. And then watch the counter engage from Zach Urgot, and then the turn happens once Sivir is already on this side. Okay, let's watch real slow. Okay, Front line's getting hit right here. Pseudo tanks are getting hit. Lissandra misplay. Here's why it's misplay. Here's your health bar. Your ultimate heals you. So you really need to self-ult there for the heal. The stun here doesn't matter because follow-up DPS is too far. If you play Lissandra, make sure your DPS is in range to ult an enemy, otherwise always self-ult. It's just better. You zone longer, you keep them out of the fight longer. So first mistake of the fight there is going to be Lissandra not ulting herself, and instead ulting someone who can't take more damage. Okay, good Zac play, keeping some people CC'd, and he's going to ult a couple out of the way as well. Actually picks up the kill on Lissandra because of it. This flash is actually decent from both bot laners to reset the fight and look for counter engage. So counter engage here comes in from Urgot after LA goes a little too far forward. Right here. So they're all walking forward, and Urgot is a broken champion, and so you can just walk in 1v3. You're not going to take that much damage. You have a lot of shielding, and you have the ability to disrupt fights really well. You have Sivir on flank as well here. Going to see Mink distort in and do some damage. Also fighting over Zac passive, so they're going to be a little distracted. Urgot actually goes wide, unlucky. Zac revives, and this fight's over because Sivir is here. Wow, look, okay, this is why you play Sivir, by the way. Look at the static shiv. So Sivir's late game teamfight damage is insane. Static shiv off of Lucian kills Swain. Then clean up the fight. If Mink kills anyone, it's over. Oh wait, Lucian actually just died. What did Lucian actually die to, by the way? Red buff? Died a red buff? He died to a ricochet. It ricocheted off of Swain and then hit him. I guess it doesn't really matter, it's just Lucian versus the world, and then you guys in the game. Nice. Really, really good. And good to know that you can end the game off of that push and not having to get the Elder first. Takeaway from that game should be late game Sivir, really, really good in team fights. And mid prio before objectives can win you games. So hopefully that's insightful for you guys. Went pretty deep in a lot of those fights. Probably the really cool takeaways from this game would be looking at team fights, especially when you have comps that function in really different ways. So this is a really good way to play Sivir comps and understand when and why you win certain fights. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you guys at Team B and then any other teams that watch this as well. And then going to do another VoD review after this one, so stay tuned.